Ekadashi D. Patel is the global guide of the Heartfulness way of meditation. Known to many as Daaji, his teachings reflect his knowledge of spiritual traditions and modern scientific research, combined with his own experience and discoveries. Born in Gujarat, India, Daaji showed an early interest in meditation and spirituality. He started Heartfulness Meditation in 1970 while studying pharmacy. In 1980, he moved to the US, where he practiced pharmacy and continued to pursue his love of meditation. Now, embracing the many roles of a modern-day spiritual guide, Daaji travels widely, extending his support to seekers worldwide. Now, let us listen to Daaji's thoughts about health.
Fasting and autophagy. Ancient wisdom and scientific research intersect. A few days back, we were having a conversation at the Heartfulness Meditation Center in New Jersey, USA, about the significance of various rituals and customs that have been observed in society since time immemorial. Many of these rituals are followed with rigor and discipline, which is a good thing. What makes them more joyful and impactful, though, is knowing the true significance of the principles behind them. Our conversation touched upon various topics, like the reasons for adorning the red pigment, sindoor, as a dot on the forehead of married women in India, praying before eating, and fasting on special occasions. I would like to share with you some of my thoughts on the concept of fasting. So many traditional rituals are disappearing from modern civilization, but fortunately, something is still preserved amongst the innocent people in villages. They may not understand the significance of these rituals, but they have maintained their observance. Among so-called educated people, we have issues when someone asks why we are doing what we are doing. As a result, when we have no justifiable explanation, we avoid observing rituals for fear of being looked upon as old-fashioned or without real understanding. We need to study and try to find the significance behind most rituals. Let's start with the significance of Ekadashi in the Indian culture. Many people observe a fast on Ekadashi days. It is a widely prevalent ritual, but not deeply understood. Ekadashi is a Sanskrit word for the number 11. It stands for the 11th day of each half of the month in the lunar calendar. So there are 2 Ekadashi days in each month. One is in the first half of the month when the moon is waxing, and the second is when the moon is waning. These days have a very special significance for health, and the practice has been connected with religion for the sole purpose of health and well-being. Had it not been associated with religion, common people would not have followed such dictums. It is good to moderate the intake of food on these days, so as to counter the impact of the lunar system on the human body. As our body is 60 to 70% water, you can see the impact of the moon on the water in the oceans. It is significant. On full moon nights, there can be tides rising up to 20 or even 30 feet. Similarly, this has an impact on the human system. Especially during the full moon, records show criminal activity is greater than usual on these days. The term lunatic actually comes from the lunar effect on the human nervous system. Our elders must have observed this. From the 8th day of the lunar cycle, the effect starts rising and reaches its peak on the 15th day. Midway between these two is the 11th day, Ekadashi. If we moderate our intake on that day, we can neutralize the lunar impact on our system. Closer to home, the great masters of Sahaj Marg have suggested fasting on certain special occasions. One such occasion is the day when a trainer is given permission to start imparting training to others. You may ask why trainers are asked to fast on the day they are given permission to work. In Sahaj Marg, the special preparation for training a candidate goes on for days, perhaps even years, before the work is complete. On the day when permission is granted, qualitatively, the trainer becomes a spiritual conduit of the divine transmission. And on this day, most of the yogic chakras of such a person are purified and brought to some sort of opening or blooming. These chakras are also divinely charged, enabling the trainer to become a conduit for the spiritual work. When this happens, the divine charge remains very active for the next few days. This divine charge is so subtle compared to the energy that we derive from solid food, that if we were to eat, the grosser energy from the food would naturally displace the subtle divine charge. On this day, the idea is to tune in, receive, and allow the charge to be completely absorbed. Hence, it is recommended to fast on this day. I hope you can appreciate the importance of moderation in food on such an important occasion. Earlier this week, I was reading about the fascinating work done by Dr. Yoshinori Osumi on autophagy, for which he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Medicine this year. Thanks to Dr. Osumi and others following in his footsteps, we now know that autophagy controls important physiological functions, where cellular components need to be degraded and recycled. Autophagy means to self-eat, and it is the process by which the body eats its own damaged cells and unused proteins. After an infection, autophagy can eliminate those cells infected by invading intracellular bacteria and viruses. Now, interestingly, in Ayurveda there is a saying, "Starve a cold." I believe the ancients observed these correlations across a physical, emotional, and mental spectrum. The above examples about Ekadashi and the preparatory work of a trainer in Sahaj Marg illustrate that autophagy may have a role to play also in our emotional and mental well-being beyond just the physical body. I look forward to further pioneering work by scientists to validate the new frontiers in this field of research.
We look forward to presenting Daaji's thoughts on relationships. To learn more about Heartfulness Meditation, you can visit our website at
We call what we call autophagy. Autophagy means you fast. Autophagy has been talked about in many scientific journals that when you fast, your health improves because your body gets rest. Not only from, it takes a lot of energy in digesting and assimilating the foods. That is rested. A lot of my mother especially, she used to fast Ekadashi. And when we go deep into Ayurveda, it shows why Ekadashi, why not first day, or why not the second day, why not the third day of the moon, why only the 11th day? Because the moon, the lunar effect is very profound on our human system. Not only the oceans rise and there are high tides and low tides, that is also because of this lunar movement. Lunatic person, you have heard the term lunatic, pagal ho gaya. That is also because of this moon effect. On full moon night, people go crazy. Those who are prone to go crazy, they are on the flip side. Most murders and crimes are also committed on full moon night. As the moon, grows larger, what happens is from 7th or 8th day, our blood pressure also starts rising in few mm. And it culminates by the full moon. Other hormones also, they get secreted. Some are more secreted, some are less secreted, or some are accentuated or some are decreased. All this because of the moon effect. So if you fast on 11th day, the 11th is the midpoint between the 8th, when the effect starts, and when it culminates, it's on 15th. 11th is the midpoint. So if you fast on that day, it nullifies the negative effect of the moon on our human system.